Ananda's dilemma, the seeing nature is not an object.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Presented to you by the Buddha's Light Association of Australia. Today, we continue our exploration of Volume 2 of the Shurangama Sutra, Part E, Ananda's Ultimate Entanglement. Let's align our context first. In the previous section, the Buddha used the concept of 8 returns to discern the seeing, to prove that while all worldly phenomena, light, darkness, openness, or obstruction can be returned to their external sources, the nature of seeing itself has nowhere to be returned. Ananda understood the concept of no return, yet he fell into a new state of anxiety. He asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, I understand that this seeing nature cannot be given back, but how can I be sure that this unreturnable soul is my true nature? What if it is simply another kind of object that just happens to be unreturnable?" This is the core we're dissecting today. How do you prove that this seeing is actually you? Part 2. How far you see is determined by your karma. The Buddha didn't give a direct conclusion. Instead, he led Ananda through a multi-dimensional visual demonstration. The Buddha said, "Ananda, you have not yet attained pure non-outflow, but through my transcendental power, you can see far without obstruction in the state of the first dhyana. However, observe how every sentient being sees a different range. Here, the Master's commentary is profound, mentioning several levels of vision. Venerable Aniruddha sees the entire earth as clearly as an apple in his palm. Bodhisattvas can see hundreds of thousands of words. Tathagata, Buddha, exhausts all dust-mote lands. Nothing is unseen. Ordinary beings can only see a tiny bit in front of them, a square inch of space. At this point, a student asked an interesting question. Do all arhats have supernatural powers? The Master's answer was incredibly grounded. Not necessarily. Many arhats do not manifest supernatural powers. There were even bhikkhunis who had attained arhatship, but were trapped in a room and couldn't get out. They had to be taught how to enter meditative concentration to use their functions. What does this show? The Master tells us, whether your visual range is large or small is not a problem with your seeing nature, but rather your karma at work. You have the inherent capacity, but you have karmic obstacles. Your karma dictates what can be seen and what cannot. Just as a cat can see at night, that is its karma. We are blocked by a wall because the wall is an object. But even more so, it is the result of our karma. The Master shared a stinging truth. Our current eyes, burdened by karma, can only see things within the karmic range. We spend our lives busily creating karma, only to make our obstacles even more severe. Part 3. The ocean of flowers is a soft prison. When discussing the relationship between seeing and objects,
the Master used the thought-provoking metaphor of a sea of flowers. If there is a field of vibrant, beautiful flowers before you, is it an obstacle? The Master said it is an obstacle. Even the flowers of the heavens which never wither and need no tending are obstacles to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Why? Because they trigger your delusive thoughts, making you feel comfortable and reluctant to leave. This is a soft prison. Walls are hard obstacles, beauty and comfort are soft obstacles. As long as you are obscured by the environment, you cannot escape. Therefore, our practice is to break through these layers of dust and discrimination. The Buddha told Ananda, from here to the palaces of the four heavenly kings, all mountains, rivers, lands, people, animals, and plants are environmental dust objects. They obstruct you to varying degrees. Your task now is to separate the spirit from the phenomena. Part C. If seeing were an object, could you see my seeing? The following logic is the maze Ananda struggled with most, and it is where the master provides the clearest breakdown. The Buddha proposed a hypothesis: what if seeing were a physical object? The debate of seeing the seeing. The Buddha said, Ananda, if seeing were an object, then you should be able to see my seeing. The master explained, if your spirituality were a physical entity like a cup, then when I look at something, you should not only see the cup I am looking at but also see the physical entity of my ability to see. But the fact is, you can never see my seeing, and I can never see yours. Where is the unseen place? The Buddha asked, when I am not looking at anything, when I do not see. Can you see where that state of not seeing is? If you could see it, then that not seeing would become an appearance object, meaning it wouldn't be not seeing anymore. If you cannot see where my not seeing is, doesn't that prove the seeing nature is not an object? The master noted this section proves the ethereal, empty state of self-nature. It is not any phenomenon, it exists outside the range of existence or non-existence. Because it is spiritual, it can manifest everything. Because it is empty, it has no solid form for you to grasp. 3. Can objects see you? The Buddha's final move is seeing were an object. Then when you see an object, the object should also see you. The world would fall into chaos, the boundaries between person and object, you and me, would be scrambled. Such an order could not exist. Part 2. Solving the mystery of the second moon and the reflection. Finally, let us talk about the metaphor that has puzzled people for years, the second moon versus the moon's reflection. Ananda asked if the seeing nature is not an object, what is its relationship to the true heart? The Buddha replied, the essence of seeing is not yet the ultimate subtle essential bright mind, but it is like the second moon, not a moon's reflection. The master clarified this beautifully. The reflection, if you place a basin of water under the moon, that is a reflection. 10 basins create 10 reflections. These are the mountains, rivers, people, plains, and canyons, all illusory reflections manifested by self-nature. The second moon, if you press your finger against your eye while looking at the moon, you see 2 moons. One is the real moon, the other is a double image caused by the pressure on your eye. This double image, though a hallucination, is inseparable from the real moon. It comes directly from the real moon, unlike the reflection in the water, which is a layer removed. The master said, your current seeing nature is like the second moon. It is influenced by karma like the finger pressing the eye. It carries a bit of illusion, but it is directly the manifestation of the true heart. If you look at the moon through vinegar, you think the moon is sour. If you look through sewage, you think the moon is stinky. Does the moon have a smell? No, the water has a smell. Your seeing nature is limited by your karma, showing a square-inch view, but the capacity to see is fundamentally the true heart. Conclusion: why seek reality outside? At the end of the podcast, we return to the Buddha's lament to Ananda. The Buddha said, Ananda, when you are looking at something, that seeing is you, it is not me. The seeing nature pervades all places. If it isn't you, then who is it? Why do you doubt your own true nature? Why do you think your own nature is untrue and come to me to beg for a reality? The master's teaching tells us each of us holds a priceless pearl, the seeing nature. But we are dazzled by the karmic sea of flowers and trapped by the gains and losses of our square inch of space. We are busy categorizing and returning things, forgetting that the spiritual prisons that which can discriminate and has nothing to return has never left us. So next time you feel small, helpless, or lost, remember the master's words, that which clearly sees all is your spirit. It is not subject to obstacles, it is your karma that is obstructed. That concludes our sharing today from the Buddha's Light Association of Australia. We'll see you in the next episode.